Parrot just lost the civil war in the Unstable SMP, making Saparata the new king. And I think I know exactly how Parrot will save the server from Saparata. But first, here's a quick recap of everything that went down. Parrot just got defeated on the Unstable SMP, because in his newest video, the war between him and Cindercrest was ongoing. And at first, it looked like Parrot was gonna win because a sneak attack on a big portion of Cindercrest's army was very successful. But it all started going downhill when Parrot's close friend Reyna got captured by Saparata, an old player and the leader of the Cindercrest army who wants to run the server and kill all of the new players. And due to Reyna being captured, Parrot was forced to trade her for Lettuce K, an old player who could convince all of the others to join Saparata. And in the midst of all the chaos, Parrot convinced FlameFrags to join his side, which is when they go to confront Saparata, who at that point is already in Parrot's capital city. And after Wemmbu unleashed his orbital cannons killing hundreds of players, Saparata delivered a message saying that he will spare the new players if they turn on Parrot, which is when Parrot's entire army suddenly turned on him, forcing Parrot to run for his life as his entire team falls apart. And after running all the way to spawn, Parrot meets Saparata, who's already there, which is also when Saparata tells Parrot that he lied and that he will actually kill all of the new players who joined the server. Because if you didn't know, Saparata hates Parrot due to Parrot allowing new players on the server, thus making food scarce. And after Parrot almost dies trying to kill Saparata, he runs away with no hope left, which is when they show Saparata's whole army killing thousands of new players and crowning Saparata as the new king of the Unstable SMP. Now, Parrot may have lost the civil war, but I don't think Saparata has actually won. I think we're about to see something that we don't see that often. I think all four main protagonists are eventually going to unite against Saparata. And here's the thing, Saparata didn't just defeat Parrot, he declared war on every new player on the server, and that's where all of his problems begin. Because the moment Saparata became king, he basically created a common enemy for every major protagonist, starting with FlameFrags. At the end of the civil war, Flame was already working alongside Parrot, and after Lamedy left to rebuild his own life, Flame has more reason than ever to stay on the right side. In fact, Flame is probably one of the strongest fighters left standing, and if Parrot wants to build a true resistance, Flame alone isn't enough. The next person Parrot needs is Wemmbu. Now, I know that sounds insane considering everything that has happened. Wemmbu literally helped destroy Parrot's army, but if there's one thing that we've learned from the Unstable SMP, is that alliances change constantly, and Wemmbu still has unfinished business, specifically Egg-chan, because Egg-chan's situation and Arachna's growing influence haven't exactly been solved. And if Parrot wants more power, more players, and more resources, helping Wemmbu could be the perfect way to earn an alliance. And if they manage to defeat Arachnid or free Egg-chan, suddenly Parrot's resistance becomes much stronger. Now, Parrot and Flame could recruit Wemmbu, which is a very real possibility, and then the three of them could travel to find Spoke. And honestly, I think Spoke is the missing piece. Because while Parrot's story has always been about kingdoms and leadership, Spoke's story has always been about survival. He spent entire arcs overcoming impossible situations, prisons, manhunts, powerful enemies, everything. And if Saparata truly stays the king of the server, eventually his influence reaches everyone, including Spoke. And if you look at the direction Spoke's storyline is going, I could see him being a part of Parrot's team, and Saparata being king gives Spoke a reason to get involved. And once that happens, Saparata could be facing something far worse than Parrot and what's left of his kingdom. He could be facing the combined strength of every major protagonist. And when you look at Saparata as the villain, I'm pretty sure he is big enough of a villain that would warrant all four protagonists teaming up against him. And what's interesting is that we have actually seen something similar before. During previous major conflicts, rival groups were forced to work together against larger threats. The Law storyline is one example where former enemies eventually found themselves fighting the same problem, which makes me think that the Civil War will be similar. Because Parrot lost his kingdom, Flame lost the future he was helping build, Wemmbu still has unfinished business, and Spoke has his own problems brewing. And with Saparata now controlling the entire server, it makes perfect sense. Because the moment one villain becomes powerful enough, every other storyline starts pointing in the same direction. And that's why I think Saparata's victory is temporary. He might have won the war, but he may have created the alliance that eventually destroys him. Tell me what you think.